The hegemony's finest scientists had declared it impossible. The void rift near Kepler 442 consumed everything that dared approach its twisted boundaries. Energy, matter, time itself seemed to unravel at its edges. 17 expeditions from 6 different species had attempted passage through the dimensional tear. 17 expeditions had vanished without so much as a distress signal. Commander Zethkar of the Dominion fleet stood on his flagship's bridge, mandibles clicking in nervous anticipation as his sensor array painted the familiar picture of empty space, where the human cruiser Defiance should have emerged. 3 standard hours past their estimated arrival time. The betting pools among his crew had already paid out. Another human vessel lost to their inexplicable arrogance. "Sir," his communications officer chittered, "perhaps we should inform Earth Command that—" The words died as space itself seemed to crack. Reality rippled like disturbed water, and from within the impossible geometry of the rift's mouth, something emerged. Not the sleek, pristine hull they expected from a failed crossing, but something that looked as though it had been chewed up by the universe itself and spat back out in defiance. The Defiance limped into normal space, her hull scored with patterns that hurt to look at directly, gouges that seemed to extend into dimensions that shouldn't exist. Sections of her armor plating flickered between states of matter. Her port engines trailed fire that burned colors the Zethkar's species had no names for. But she was intact. She was alive. "Impossible," Zethkar breathed through his translator. "Run full spectral analysis. I want to know how—" "Dominion vessel." A gravelly human voice crackled across the comm channel, heavy with exhaustion but unbroken. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Defiance. Thanks for the welcome party, but we could use a tow. Our FTL drive is currently experiencing what our engineer describes as aggressive temporal hiccups." The bridge fell silent. Zethkar's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme confusion among his people. "Captain Chen," he managed, "our instruments indicate you've just traversed the Kepler rift. That should be impossible." A laugh echoed across the Ye channel. Not the bitter laugh of a being driven mad by cosmic horror, but the genuine amusement of someone who'd just pulled off an impressive feat. "Yeah, well, humans have a funny relationship with impossible. Mind if we dock? My crew could use some real food that doesn't phase in and out of existence." As the Defiance limped toward the Dominion vessel's docking bay, Zethkar found himself studying the damage patterns with growing fascination. His chief science officer, a brilliant Kethni theorist named Veltar, approached with datapad in hand and an expression of pure bewilderment on her crystalline features. "Commander," she began, "I've never seen anything like this. The hull damage isn't just physical, it's dimensional. Parts of their ship appear to have been temporarily shifted into parallel realities. By all known laws of physics, the structural integrity should have failed catastrophically." "And yet here they are," Zethkar murmured. An hour later, Captain Chen sat across from him in his ready room, looking remarkably composed for someone who'd just accomplished the impossible. She was younger than he'd expected. Most species didn't trust dimensional travel to anyone under their equivalent of 60 standard years. Her dark hair was streaked with premature silver, and her brown eyes held the particular weariness that came from staring into the abyss and making it blink first. "The trick," she explained over a cup of their shared caffeine analog, "wasn't to fight the rift. Every other expedition tried to power through it, shield against it, or navigate around its worst effects. We went the opposite direction." Zethkar leaned forward, genuinely intrigued. "Opposite how?" "We embraced it." Chen's smile was sharp as a blade. "My engineer, crazy bastard named Rodriguez, figured out that the rift doesn't destroy ships, it transforms them. Tries to scatter them across multiple realities simultaneously. So instead of resisting that transformation, we designed our systems to roll with it." She pulled up a holographic display of the Defiance's internal systems. Zethkar's eyes widened as he took in the modifications, redundancies built on redundancies, backup systems for the backup systems, and routing protocols that looked like they'd been designed by someone who expected half their ship to exist in another dimension at any given moment. We call it quantum resilience engineering, Chen continued. If the rift wants to scatter our atoms across 17 different realities, fine. We just made sure we could still function in 16 of them while we figured out how to pull ourselves back together in the 17th. The computational requirements alone, Veltar, who had joined them, shook her head in amazement. How did your systems handle processing quantum states across multiple dimensional matrices? Chen grinned. That's where human stubbornness comes in handy. We didn't try to understand it, we just brute forced it. Threw enough processing power and redundant systems at the problem until something worked. My AI had what I'm pretty sure was a nervous breakdown halfway through, but it adapted. She gestured toward the viewport, where the Defiant sat in the docking bay like a wounded animal that had nonetheless dragged itself home. Look, I'm not saying it was easy. We lost 2 crew members to temporal displacement. They're fine. Just stuck 12 minutes in the future until the effect wears off. Half our supplies exist in a quantum superposition that makes them taste like mathematics. And I'm pretty sure our ship's cat is now psychic. Zethkar stared at her. You lost crew members and you're joking about it? Chen's expression sobered slightly. Commander, in the 3 hours we spent crossing that rift, my crew experienced 17 different apocalypses, had their molecules scattered across 1,000 light years, and watched reality itself try to edit them out of existence. The fact that we're sitting here having this conversation means we won. She paused. Humans don't survive by being the strongest or the smartest. We survive by being too stubborn to admit when we're beaten. 3 months later, the first joint human hegemony expedition successfully traversed the Kepler Rift using modified versions of human quantum resilience technology. The breakthrough opened up entire sectors of space previously considered unreachable, leading to the discovery of 17 new worlds and 3 new intelligent species. But it was the message Captain Chen left in the Rift's quantum substrate that truly captured the galaxy's imagination. A simple string of human text encoded in the dimensional boundary itself. Sarah Chen was here. The impossible is just Tuesday. When asked about it during her medal ceremony, Chen just shrugged. Seemed like the thing to do. Besides, she added with that trademark human grin, someone's got to leave a trail for the next impossible thing we decide to try. And in the depths of space, where reality bent and twisted in ways that defied comprehension, the message continued to pulse, a beacon for any species brave enough to follow in humanity's wake. Proof that sometimes the best way to face the impossible wasn't with caution or wisdom, but with the uniquely human combination of engineering ingenuity and absolute bloody-minded refusal to accept defeat.